Some hearts beat in shadows. Kira ran. Her dreams slipped away, a glass slipper lost in the wild, a symbol of everything she yearned for and feared. The royal ball glittered behind her, bright lights, laughter, and promises wrapped in silk and arrogance. But they felt empty, heavy. Lord Arik. His gaze had burned into her, hungry, possessive, seeking to claim her. In every way, she burst into the trees of the forest, the world of nature swallowing her whole. Darkness embraced her like an old friend. Here, among the shadows, the wolves waited. They understood her pain. Their howls echoed through the night, a haunting song that called to her heart. The rush of her steps quickened as freedom surged through her veins. She inhaled fiercely, each breath tasting of the air she craved. But guilt clutched at her, wrapping tight around her heart. Images of her family crashed against her mind. Her mother, frail and delicate, lying in bed, caught in the chains of illness. Little siblings, innocent and unaware of the world's cruelty. The village she had loved, a place now filled with worry over her absence. Desperation grew within her, a wildfire craving sustenance. She had left them behind. Could she be forgiven? Just 23, and Kira felt older, weary beyond her years of servitude. Each day had blended into the next, bleak and unyielding. Yet tonight had offered her a glimpse, a kiss of hope, as she dared to touch the boundaries of escape. But the shadows stirred. The howl of the wolves grew worse. They were drawn to her, sensing both her need for loyalty and the pull of power that ran deep in her veins. Allies, guardians. In the chaos of her flight, she felt them close, and yet feared what they would ask of her. Two desires clashed within her: the relentless yearning for autonomy, freedom from the oppressive weight of servitude, and the undeniable loyalty to the family she had abandoned. A storm brewed in her heart. Could she take flight and leave her loved ones behind? They depended on her. Trust had been shattered too many times for her to forget the lessons she had learned. Lord Arik, his cunning smirk haunted her, a shadow looming even now. What would he do now that she was free? The night stretched out before her, thick and endless. Sounds of the forest flooded her ears, the rustling of leaves becoming an orchestra of survival. They surrounded her, whispers mingling with the night breeze. The wolves circled, their eyes like embers in the dark, giving her strength, guidance, or entrapment. Could she trust them? And as she stumbled deeper into the woods, shadows twisted, echoing her turmoil. The truth crystallized. She was caught between two worlds, each call pulling at her heart. The warmth of familial bonds tugged, drawing her back, while the intoxicating chance of freedom seduced her forward. Would she emerge anew, a beacon of change for her family and her village, breaking the cycle of despair? Or would she vanish, a mere whisper lost to history, swallowed by the night? With every beat, her heart raced faster, a tidal wave of fear mixing with hope. Time pressed at her back. Choices loomed ahead. The forest beckoned, urging her onward. She could almost taste the freedom she desired, but feared the true cost of reclaiming her life. What awaited her in the shadows? Would she find the strength to seize her own destiny? Kira's breath caught in her throat as she stopped at a crossroads in the forest. The moonlight dipped into the darkness, illuminating paths that twisted like secrets. What would she barter for her freedom? Would it cost her everything she held dear? The scent of pine and earth filled her lungs, and she stood poised at the precipice of change. Would she step forward, or retreat into the familiar, relinquishing her chance at liberation? There was only one way to find out. The moon hung high, casting trembling light through the leaves, and Kira took a deep breath, stilling the tumult of her thoughts. Life had shaped her, each moment a thread weaving into the tapestry of her existence. She glimpsed back through the layers of time, years marked by fatigue and servitude, an existence stained with struggle. At 16, she had stood in front of a withering hearth, watching as the flames died, just like the spirits of her parents. Orphaned, alone. The village offered little comfort. Desperate, she had taken the only path available, servant to the noble house, the very place that now betrayed her trust. At first, she had been grateful for the food that filled her stomach and the roof above her head. But over the years, the gratefulness had faded. It had twisted into something darker, a thirst for freedom growing steady like a shadow. Now, at 23, Kira was little more than a ghost, moving through the estate like a forgotten wisp of smoke. She worked from dawn to dusk, cleaning the grand ballroom where she had danced her dreams into oblivion, the dining halls filled with laughter that seemed to drown her cries. Memories lurked in every corner, reminders of life outside these walls, filled with possibilities she had long abandoned. And yet, the heavy shackles of duty held her tight. Lord Auric, always watching, always seeking more. Manipulation dripped like poison from his mouth as he smiled, and she shivered at memories of his touch. Power was intoxicating, and Kira had unintentionally become a pawn in his game. As much as he claimed to admire her, Kira understood the truth. She was beneath him, a mere tool to be used. That realization stung, causing her heart to bleed like an open wound. But there were moments of strength, those fleeting seconds when she felt the wildness within, the connection to something greater. The wolves, her very essence. They were not just animals. They were guardians drawn to her pain, those fierce creatures circling the edges of the forest, whispering of loyalty, connection, power. They beckoned her, a reminder that she belonged to the wild. Even now, their howls echoed in the distance, calling her back to them, calling her home. Perhaps these wolves could be the key. If they sensed her desperation, could they not guide her to freedom, help her break the chains binding her? But what would that mean for her family? With every stride deeper into the woods, Kira wrestled with the weight of choice. The forest pulsed, alive with energy, and she could feel the shadows closing in, a cloak wrapping around her. They seemed to dance with her turmoil, tempting her to flee, to embrace the new life beyond the reach of Auric's influence. Would she abandon her family entirely? Could she truly transform into someone who no longer looked back? Part of her screamed in defiance, yearning for the life she could build, free from nobility. Yet another part mourned dearly for the family left behind. Memories of her mother's gentle laughter, her siblings' innocent faces, fueled her anguish. Could she return to them? Would they accept her as she was? Or would they resent her for choosing freedom over family? Then, the silence thickened as shadows darted amongst the trees. A flicker of movement caught her eye. She gasped, halting her breath. A pair of luminous eyes, burning bright as embers, watched her. The wolves. She could sense their curiosity, their urge to reach out, to connect. They were waiting. Every instinct told her to retreat, but this moment, the wild brushed against her senses. "Are you here to help me?" she whispered into the night, her voice barely a sound. The air vibrated with anticipation. Freedom felt tantalizingly close. Yet she stood on the precipice of an abyss, the knife's edge of her heart dangling between loyalty and the lure of liberty. The moonlight illuminated the path ahead, revealing winding trails that led deeper into the forest. But as much as Kira ached for the wilderness, she feared the cost. Each choice came with a price, and perhaps freedom was a luxury she could not afford. Would the wolves guide her back to her family, or would they immerse her in the power that came with being wild and free? With a final glance back toward the flickering lights of the palace, she took a tentative step forward. Each path twisted with uncertainty, the forest enchanted yet foreboding, ready to swallow her whole. The question lingered in the air. What awaited her in the dark? Would she rise from the ashes, a powerful presence for her village, or would the weight of her own heart chain her to the ground? In that moment, Kira nestled her resolve. She would not flee from this challenge. If the shadows were her companions, then she would learn their secrets, and perhaps, just perhaps, find a way to reclaim her life while saving those she loved from the darkness that sought to ensnare them. As the howls echoed anew, she moved forward, ready to discover her fate nestled in the darkness. Would she embrace the wolves' call, or let go of everything in the pursuit of a new dawn? Kira had to choose. The night awaited, thick with possibilities, heavy with destiny. The forest enveloped Kira as she stepped deeper into shadows, her breath quickening. The cool air coursed around her, each heartbeat echoing in the stillness, a surge of excitement coursing through her veins. The wolves surrounded her, their luminous eyes glinting like stars against the darkened backdrop. She could sense their anticipation, their call weaving through her instincts as they beckoned her forward. A low growl from the depths of the pack made her pause. Out stepped a magnificent wolf, larger than the rest, its coat a striking silver and black. This was no ordinary wolf. This was the pack leader, and Kira felt a jolt of energy as it regarded her. With a steadying breath, she spoke into the cool night air. Are you here to help me?" The wolf stood silent for a moment, the intensity of its gaze holding her captive. Kira swallowed hard, an electric charge coursing between them. Did it sense her desperation? The urge to escape and find purpose? The wolf's presence was powerful, igniting a spark within her. She took a hesitant step forward, hand outstretched. "I came seeking freedom." The woods fell silent, as though even nature itself awaited the answer. The alpha nudged her hand. Warmth radiated from its fur, enveloping her in comfort. Kira could feel something ancient and wise passing through the connection, an invitation to understand her true self. In that moment, images surged through her mind. Visions of the wolves hunting together, running wild under the moonlight, living free. A pulse of longing welled within her, the urge to let go of the chains of her past, to embrace the wild spirit within. Yet doubt crept in, reminding her of Lord Arik's reach, the grip he had on her life. He wouldn't stop until he had her back under his control. What if this newfound freedom meant abandoning her family? The faces of her mother and younger siblings swirled through her thoughts, urging her to stay grounded. With fear threatening her resolve, Kira stood firm. "Will they protect me?" she asked the alpha, desperation lacing her voice. The wolf regarded her with serious intensity, as though weighing her words. A flick of its ears signaled acceptance, the pack gathering closer around her. They would protect their own. Kira took a breath that swelled in her chest, determination igniting her spirit. "I want to learn, to fight, to reclaim my life and my family's safety." Her resolve blossomed as she spoke, growing stronger with each word. The promise of unity formed within her. She could survive and thrive among the wolves. The alpha let out a deep howl, a rallying cry that echoed through the trees, calling the rest of the pack to attention. Surrounding her, they lifted their heads, joining in the chorus, an affirmation of acceptance. The night came alive with their voices, strength, camaraderie. Kira felt an unstoppable force rising within her, a connection deeper than she could have imagined. "Together we can rise against the darkness," she declared, her voice ringing clear above the wolves' howling. The energy pulsing through the air felt electric, charged with purpose. She was no longer a servant of a cruel master, but a warrior poised to fight for the life she wished to reclaim. As the moon illuminated the clearing, she felt a shift within her, a melding of courage and fearlessness. She took a moment to embrace her new reality, no longer isolated, but part of a greater whole. But with the promise of power came challenges. Lord Arik would soon come hunting for her. She could almost picture his relentless pursuit. He wouldn't relinquish control willingly. Would these wolves be enough to safeguard her? Or would the stranglehold of the past pull her back into the clutches of despair? With the pack gathered closely, Kira decided that now was the time to push forward. She would harness this power, learn their ways, dive headfirst into becoming one with the wolves. If they could teach her how to survive, she could return, not just for herself, but for her family. The moon hung above, casting silver rays through the trees as the wolves howled in approval. One step at a time, they forged a path westward, guided by instincts as ancient as the forest itself. Each sound in the night became a melody, and each rustle spoke to her heart. Kira set forth behind the alpha, now ready to embrace the wildness within her. A new journey unfurled before her, filled with uncertainty, yet bursting with potential. Would she learn the strength to reclaim her life and protect the ones she loved? With the pack watching, the breath of the night filled her lungs. She was alive, roaring with possibility. The time for fear was over, and the call of destiny was loud and clear. What lay ahead was an adventure, an opportunity for growth and discovery. Would she find the strength needed to face Lord Arik and reclaim her home? The woods beckoned, alive with promise. The wolves moved with a fluid grace, weaving through the trees, each heartbeat synchronized with the pulse of the forest. Kira followed closely behind the alpha, exhilaration coursing through her veins. Every step felt empowering, a signal of her transformation. Her senses heightened. The air was thick with the scent of moss and wildflowers, the woods alive with rhythmic sounds. She could hear the distant rush of a stream, the haunting call of an owl, everything around her echoing her thrill of newfound freedom. As they ran, Kira tried to clear her mind, focus on her desire to learn. She envisioned herself honing skills that would allow her to protect her family and herself. The thought of her siblings brought a rush of determination. She would not fail them. Contrary to the stillness of the palace, this place vibrated with vitality, as if welcoming her very spirit into the fold. The pack slowed as they came upon the riverbank, a glimmering veil stretching under the moonlight. "This is home," whispered the Alpha with a glance back. Kira could feel the unspoken bond among them, an invisible thread of loyalty and connection weaving her deeper into the fabric of the pack. She approached the water's edge, marveling at its clarity. The reflection in its surface was a stark reminder of her journey, a moment-turned vision of a girl transforming into a fierce warrior. Days merged into one as Kira immersed herself in the ways of the pack. They taught her the language of body and breath. She studied their movements, learned to track scents through the underbrush, the subtle shifts in the wind. Every slip of her foot on the forest floor echoed with whispers of nature, lending her the wisdom of each leaf and shadow. There was a daunting learning curve, of course. Her body protested in exhaustion with each sprint and practice, but through pain came strength. One night, beneath a tapestry of stars, the Alpha approached her, its presence commanding an electrifying focus. Kira stood tall, heart racing. "You've trained well," it acknowledged, tone deep and resonant. "Are you ready for your first hunt?" The invitation thrummed in her blood like a tempest. Every instinct told her to run with them, to claim that thrill of the wild. She nodded, gritting her teeth against the anxiety curling in her stomach. "Absolutely." The pack stirred with energy, their excitement palpable. They sprinted into the night, moonlight guiding their way. Kira was breathless, everything a vibrant rush. Their unity, the pulse of the hunt. She felt fully alive, the wildness enveloping her as they dashed through the trees, the forest echoing with the sound of paws striking the ground. They hunted a deer, a creature delicate yet fleet. As they approached, Kira felt the adrenaline surge within her. The Alpha led the charge, but Kira was right there beside them, every muscle finely tuned. As they closed in, the dynamic shifted. She felt the call of instinct, the understanding of their synchronized movements. The pack closed around the animal, each member laden with purpose, including herself. The thrill of the hunt surged through her, exhilarating and fierce. They chased, darting, weaving. Kira's heart raced with every bound, and she felt a sense of community wrapped tightly around her like woven threads. She wasn't alone. This was home. They finally cornered the deer near a thicket. As the pack lunged forward, time slowed. The thrill struck like a lightning bolt. They worked as one, instinctively aware of their roles. Kira felt alive, a part of something bigger than herself. With their collective strength, they brought the creature down. Breath came in short gasps, exhilaration humming in her ears. The sound of their success vibrated through her bones, freeing her spirit. Here, she was not just Kira. She was also a force forged from the wilderness. This was the power she had sought, a validation that pulsed with each heartbeat. After the hunt, the pack celebrated, the air heavy with the scent of triumph. Kira shared in their joy, laughter intertwining with the howls soaring into the night sky. In those moments, she glimpsed the greater purpose she had come to embody, the balance of power and vulnerability, the importance of connection. But as the days turned into weeks, Kira also felt the slip of time between the pack and her family. Tension lodged deep in her spirit. The threat of Lord Auric lingered like a shadow at the edge of her thoughts. She couldn't forget his ambition to reclaim her, to force her back under his command. One afternoon, as Kira trained along the riverbank, the realization hit her. She needed to return, not just for her family, but for the village. If she could unite the strength of her pack with the courage of her community, perhaps she could forge a new future for both. But how could she bridge two worlds, especially when her heart teetered between them? The weight of her decision pressed down. She approached the alpha, its golden eyes reflecting wisdom far beyond her years. "I need to go back," she voiced, her tone steady but laced with uncertainty. "I have to protect them. I can't let Arik take what I care about." It observed her with unyielding scrutiny. "Your heart strives for love, but your bond to the pack is also love," it responded calmly. "You must find a way to weave them into one." Kira's heart swelled with understanding. She was not choosing one over the other. Instead, she could embody both, the bridge needed to connect her family and the pack. "What if I fail?" she questioned, vulnerable now, needing guidance. "Courage is not without fear. It is moving forward despite it," the wolf replied. "Embrace your journey, and others will follow. Your heart knows how to lead." And in that moment, she understood. She could return, not just as Kira, but as the embodiment of the wolf's strength, the protector of her family, and the power of the pack. As night fell, Kira stood at the edge of the forest, the moon rising behind her like a guardian. She looked back at her pack, each silhouette a promise of what had become essential. They were strength. They were her foundation. With a final gaze, she stepped forward into the darkness, her journey ready to unfold. Would love and courage unite her worlds, or would the shadow of Arik extinguish her newfound light? The uncertainty was daunting, but she wasn't afraid anymore. With each step into the unknown, she carried the spirit of the pack within her, ready to face whatever was waiting. The village lay ahead, a silhouette against the canvas of the starry sky, a place filled with memories of warmth and laughter. As Kira approached, each step felt heavier, burdened by the weight of her choice, yet buoyed by the strength pulsing in her veins. The smells of the earth, of familiar fields, reached her and tugged at her heart, igniting a spark of determination. Lord Arik would know she was back. He'd have eyes around every corner. Yet, she couldn't allow the thought of him to hold her back. She was no longer the frightened girl who had fled. She was Kira, a warrior capable of bridging two worlds. The village lights twinkled like stars, but the atmosphere felt thick with tension. Maintaining a balance would be more difficult than she'd imagined. As she crossed the threshold into the village, a figure emerged from the shadows. Lena, her closest friend, eyes wide with disbelief. "Kira," she whispered, stepping forward, disbelief mingling with relief. "Is it really you?" The embrace was fierce and unyielding, just like Kira remembered. "I'm back," she murmured against Lena's shoulder. "I had to come back." But Lena pulled back, clouded eyes narrowing. "You should have stayed away. Arik is furious. He wants you back." Kira squared her shoulders. "I can't allow that. I'm not the same. I'll protect you all." Before Lena could respond, the faint sound of footsteps drew near. Kira's heart raced. She glanced toward the alley, expecting the worst. From the darkness emerged a figure, a guard patrolling the village. Kira knew she couldn't hide. "We need to hurry," she said, urgency in her voice. Together they ducked into a narrow path between two houses. Kira's mind raced. She needed to articulate the bond she had forged with the pack without revealing too much of their world. "To defeat Arik, I must unify the pack and the village," Kira explained, keeping her voice low. "We have strength, and I can teach everyone how to fight back. We can stand against him together." Lena hesitated, glancing back toward the direction of the guard. "Are you sure they'll accept you? You've changed, Kira. This isn't the same village." Kira felt a surge of determination. "I need to show them. I am more than they remember. I'm more than a servant. I need their belief, Lena, and I need yours. Will you help me?" A moment passed before Lena nodded, uncertainty still clouding her expression. "Just be careful. If Arik finds out..." Kira silenced her with a pointed look. "He won't." They moved cautiously, navigating the familiar yet foreign streets, slipping past homes that once felt like they belonged to her. The village square came into view, and Kira could see the silhouettes of townsfolk gathered, the hushed murmurs filling the air. She stepped into the moonlight, every breath resonating with purpose. "Everyone!" Kira called, projecting her voice over the din. Heads turned, eyes widened. "I am back!" The crowd shifted, uncertainty rippling through them. Whispers fluttered like leaves against the breeze. "She should have stayed away. Lord Arik." No, Kira cut in, resolve igniting within her. Do not let fear rule your hearts. I've returned not alone, but with strength and knowledge that can save us. I've learned to fight. A murmur spread, a mix of hope and disbelief. Gathering courage, she pressed on. I've forged a bond with the wolves, with a pack that understands loyalty and strength. Together we can reclaim our freedom, our home, before Arik's power grows too strong. Skepticism filled the air. A tall man stepped forward, doubt etched across his features. Wolves? Do you think they'll really help us? Deep within her, Kira felt the heartbeat of the pack whispering encouragement. They are not just wolves. They are family. They will stand with me. The crowd hesitated, curiosity battling with doubt. Kira felt the surge of urgency consuming her. Join me! I could meet with them, show you their strength. We need to be united. Suddenly, a loud voice boomed from behind them, a voice that made her blood run cold. What a ridiculous notion! Lord Arik strode into the square, flanked by guards, the very embodiment of authority. You think you can challenge me, Kira? Her heart raced, but she stood her ground. I will protect this village, Arik. Your reign of fear ends now. He laughed, dark and menacing. You think a pack of beasts can save you? You've lost your mind, Kira. You think your friends will join you? The townsfolk shrank back, whispers of doubt returning. I know they will, she called, desperation igniting her courage. A flash of anger crossed Arik's face as he stepped closer, eyes gleaming like a predator's, ready to strike. You dare defy me? I will ensure you regret every decision you make. Kira felt the instinct to retreat, practical considerations battling against her heartbeat. But she pressed on, shoulders squared. If you think the wolves won't protect me, then you underestimate my resolve. I will not be your pawn. Enough! Arik snapped, eyes narrowing. You want to stand beside them? We can put that to the test. He gestured, and the guards closed in, bearing weapons slightly. You will come with me, or I will destroy everything you love. Fear and rage battled inside Kira. You think I'll let you? You will not imprison me again. You don't control my fate. A howl pierced the night, echoing through the silence, resonating power. The pack appeared behind her, emerging from the shadows, eyes glowing with fierce loyalty. Among them stood the Alpha, regal and commanding. Leave her alone, it growled, voice a low rumble. The townsfolk gasped, fear mixing with wonder. Kira felt a surge of strength, the bond tightening around her. Together, she shouted, raising her chin high. We will reclaim our home. I will no longer be the girl you once thought you knew. We will fight. The murmurs in the village shifted, uncertainty blending with determination. The pack stood resolute with her, a wall of strength against Arik's menace. Murmur all you want, Kira, Arik sneered, stepping back. But know this, I will not let you unite with beasts. Consider your next move carefully. Then with that, he turned toward the guards, fury radiating from him as he stalked away into the darkness. With Arik gone, Kira felt the courage surge within her, blending hope and resolve. She had drawn a line, made her stand, and the pack was with her. Will you fight with me? She asked the villagers, heart pounding in her ears. The fear in their eyes started to lift, replaced with determination. Yes, Lena shouted, raising her fist. Yes! One by one they joined in, echoing a chorus of agreement. Kira turned to the pack. Will you fight alongside us? The Alpha lowered its head, a powerfully solemn affirmation. Always protect her. And in that moment, the village and the pack became one, a burgeoning force ready to face the darkness ahead. The battle would come, and it would be fierce. But for the first time, Kira felt emboldened, ignited with purpose. Together, they would weave a new destiny. Would they find the strength needed to claim the future, or would Arik shatter their hope once more? The uncertainty loomed, but for now, they stood united against the night. Kira stood at the forefront of her united pack and village, courage coursing through her veins like wildfire. As dusk faded into night, tension hung in the air, thick and electric, an unspoken anticipation of what lay ahead. The stakes had never been higher, and she could feel the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. Over the past few days, villagers trained relentlessly alongside the wolves, sharpening weapons and honing their instincts. Kira led them with fierce determination, building trust among the people and forging an unbreakable bond. Each villager learned to fight, driven by their shared purpose, to reclaim their home from Arik's dark grip. The night before the battle, Kira stood overlooking the village from a hilltop, the wind whispering through the trees. She felt the reassuring presence of the Alpha by her side. "Are we ready?" she asked, heart steady but apprehensive. "Always," the Alpha replied, its eyes glowing with unwavering loyalty. As dawn broke, the atmosphere shifted. The ground trembled beneath the approaching hooves of Arik's men, a wave of darkness rolling toward them. Kira's pulse quickened. "Prepare yourselves!" she shouted, projecting her voice over the rising tide of fear. The clash began suddenly, like thunder cracking across the sky. Kira charged forward, adrenaline igniting every nerve in her body. The wolves and villagers fought side by side, their unity resonating, the raw energy of hope clashing against the oppressive force of Arik's rule. "Fight for your homes! Fight for each other!" Kira cried, her voice rising above the chaos. Each swing of her blade, each movement felt like a defiant shout, a testament to their resilience. As she maneuvered through the fray, she spotted Arik in the distance, an undeniable menace amidst the battle. His eyes met hers, a smirk twisting his lips. "You think you can defy me, Kira?" he taunted, rage fueling his arrogance. "I don't just think it. I know it," she retorted, pushing through the chaos until she stood before him, fierce determination ignited within her. They faced off, her heart racing with every strike and parry. The world around them blurred, the cacophony of battle fading into a haze as Kira concentrated solely on defeating him. She could hear the pack behind her, their howls harmonizing with the villagers' cries, lending her strength. In a critical moment, Kira found an opening. Summoning all her energy, she lunged, swinging her blade and catching Arik off guard. He stumbled, his arrogance melting into shock. "You will pay for this," he spat, desperation creeping into his voice. Kira held her ground. "Not today." The tide was shifting. Around her, the villagers and wolves surged forward, the enemy's ranks faltering. Triumph surged through her. They were reclaiming their strength. As the first light of dawn broke through the trees, illuminating the battlefield, Kira realized they were close to victory. Arik's men, once so strong and intimidating, began to retreat, uncertainty leaking into their ranks. With renewed determination, Kira rallied her allies once more. "Together, this is our home," she shouted, and the collective roar that followed echoed through the air. As Arik, realizing he was losing control, cursed and fought back with desperation, Kira pressed forward once more. She was fueled by the love for her village and the camaraderie she forged with the pack. "This ends now!" she shouted as she advanced on him, striking with unwavering conviction. In that electrifying moment, Kira felt a rush of victory as Arik stumbled back. "You may have won this time, but I will return," he sneered, turning to escape, the darkness of defeat heavy on his shoulders. Kira took a breath, adrenaline still surging, as a wave of cheers rose around her, victory echoing through the valley. The villagers celebrated and embraced each other, their fears dissolving into triumph. She felt light, proud, her heart swelling at their resolve. With the sun rising, illuminating the once-occupied village, Kira turned to her pack, their loyalty evident. "We've defended our home, but this isn't the end. We will rebuild and remain vigilant. Together, we will thrive." In that moment of newfound hope, she saw the villagers' faces filled with determination, the unity of wolves and humans forged in fire. They would guard this fragile peace, ready for whatever challenges lay ahead. If you enjoyed Kira's journey as she rose to protect her home, subscribe for more epic Lycan King romances. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a story. And remember, together we can forge our own futures. Thank you for listening.